Welcome back, everybody, to Poppers Pupils versus Melee Creeps, the NA decider match of Deadlock Night Shift number 52. Game 1 had Poppers Pupils winning relatively dominantly as well. So we'll see what Melee Creeps want to change up, because I don't expect Poppers Pupils to change things too much. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Our first bans come out the exact same as before. Lash and Doorman banned out. Meanwhile, Rem, once more the first pick of this week. Rem's really been the first pick of a lot of these games this week so far. There weren't any huge changes or anything either, so just the inherent value of the little guy getting more praise than before. Melee Creeps pick up Abrams. So far, everything is exactly the same as last time. Let me guess, Calico? No, they grabbed McGinnis this time. All right. So last time they picked up Abrams and Calico. This time Abrams and McGinnis. They're going to secure the strength of McGinnis, that strong early game pushing presence into scaling gun carry. Over on the side of Poppers Pupils, I expect them to see Billy. Yep, there's Billy for a frontline tank so that they don't get left high and dry without a good choice there. And now they might actually grab Venator because it got banned out last time by Melee Creeps at the second banning phase. No, they grabbed Pocket. All right, Pocket was completely ignored last game. This time we've got Pocket being picked up. More losses than wins in the few games that Pocket actually sneaks their way through. But still a strong pick, still a good hero to take advantage of, for sure. And Melee Creeps also grabbed Venator, which means either this Vindicta, or this McGinnis, not Vindicta, is going to be not a scaling gun carry and a little bit more utility, or they're doing two scaling gun carries, one Venator and one McGinnis, and that's perfectly fine. But it does mean that the rest of the picks for Melee Creeps, if that's their plan, are going to have to be focused a bit more on other roles, whether it be a support or a burst damage, spirit nuker, or more tankiness, something like that. You can't grab all the gun carries in the world, because eventually, if you grab too much scaling, there's not going to be enough money on the map for you, and Celeste is another scaling hero. They've got 3 scaling heroes in their last 3 picks. McGinnis can be pivoted to a utility support, so if they did that, I'm perfectly on board with what Melee Creeps is doing right now. If they don't, and they want to be greedy, I think Melee Creeps are going to be... they're going to be trying to eat too much food with not enough on their plate. They're going to be left wanting. Poppers Pupils pick up Paradox. This is one of those other roles I was talking about. And Calico, another one of those other roles I was talking about. So Paradox, a pick-off hero with solid chase down / spirit nuking, and Calico, just heavy rotational spirit nuker. Means that those heroes won't be available for Melee Creeps. And Melee Creeps did also ban out Mirage, so they took out the big gun carries that are being played in the current patch, but there are other gun carries that aren't being played that much that are still available. There's a Lady Geist available who's still being played plenty, and I feel like Poppers Pupils are likely to pick that up. There's Infernus available if they want Infernus instead. There's Mina available, which is a spirit carry, but she's also very gun-focused. There's Viper available if they want to dig into that. There's Wraith available. There's too many availabilities to really ban that out. It's not like the tank role, the frontline role, that is easily slowed down by picks and bans. And there's the Mina pickup. Melee Creep's last couple of picks were Bebop and Paige. Paige is a hero we really don't see very often for 2 reasons. Number 1, her ultimate's a very long cooldown. It's a great ultimate, but it's a very long cooldown. And number 2, her support is focused on shielding allies. And shielding doesn't provide nearly as much value as healing, because healing numbers are usually bigger than shielding numbers, first off. And second off, because you can't undo damage via a shield like you can with a heal, which means if there's downtime and you have an injured ally, throwing a shield on them's not really going to help, as opposed to Rem hopping in with a tag-along and healing them, which is going to obviously help a lot more. And that's part of the reason why we don't see Paige very often. She also has one of the weaker laning stages and has difficulty securing orbs in the lane, so these things really make her less desirable as a support than the others. She has a very strong kit, though. And considering her allies, she has 3 potential scaling heroes that like to shoot their gun a lot in the form of McGinnis, Venator, and even Celeste a fair bit. Her shield provides boosts to their ability to shoot gun and deal damage. And she can shield multiple allies at the same time, up to 3 allies at once, right? So that additional fire rate, that additional weapon damage, can really push them over the edge for their output. But the problem comes with all of the baggage that Paige has. She's not very mobile. She's pretty squishy. Backline diving heroes, such as the Calico and the Pocket, can delete her very quickly if she's mispositioned. Positioning her is difficult to prevent her from dying while still making an impact. And these are the kinds of things that Popper's Pupils are going to be looking to punish with their heroes. Pocket, Calico, and Paradox, even Mina, are all pretty darn decent at finding one of those backline targets and either getting on top of them or, in the case of Paradox, repositioning them toward your allies. So I don't think this is an easy game for Paige. This is a tough game for this hero to succeed on. But melee creeps have some confidence here. They feel like they can do it. When it comes to the ultimate late game scaling, melee creeps outscale Popper's Pupils pretty heftily even. Their heroes will fall off if the game goes long enough. That's a mighty big if, though. That's a tall ask. If Popper's Pupils can get an early advantage, I can see it being very difficult for melee creeps to keep the game going long enough for their heroes to really reach their strongest point, their big scaling. So that's my feelings on the matter right now. Let's go ahead and get ready to jump into the game. Okay, we're in now. Sorry about that. So here we are, game number 2 between Popper's Pupils and melee creeps. Popper's Pupils currently up 1-0, melee creeps
Well played.
looking to even the score. So, taking a look at our lanes, we have on the side of melee creeps for the middle lane, a Bebop and a Venator, and they're facing off against a Paradox and a Calico. So normally I'd say Paradox, Calico have a little advantage here, but the Bebop on melee creeps was insane in game number, the challenging game to get in here, and was hitting incredible hooks. So if he's able to hit an incredible hook or two, this should come out in their advantage. Moving on to the left side of the map, we have Pocket Mina facing off against McGinnis and Celeste. So Pocket and Mina are all about the burst damage and the diving in and out, whereas McGinnis and Celeste are a lot more about standing and delivering. And honestly, I feel like McGinnis Celeste should have a slightly better time in this lane. It's just really hard to win a lane against McGinnis in the first place, and Celeste is no slouch in the lane either. And if Pocket and Mina can't find a good entry into a fight to burst damage, they can easily wind up just getting pressured like this. Mina coming through, little damage, but the shield from Celeste, keeping her health pretty high. Moving over to the right side of the map, we have Billy Rem, the classic lane of Billy and Rem, facing off against Abrams and Page. So very similar lanes to each other. Big, chonky tank that likes to punch you, and support that will try and keep them alive. I'm going to put it in favor of Billy Rem, just because the healing, like I said before, healing I think is much more valuable than shielding, unless the shield is ridiculous. And the shield for Paige is good, but it's not ridiculous. It's just good. So I suspect that Paige and Abrams might have a slightly harder time, but if they do land a shoulder tackle onto someone, the follow-up is very strong from Paige. She'll be able to root them in place with the Captivating Reed and use the Bookworm to burn them down pretty heftily. Paige's early game build, 2 gun items. We're gonna go gun Paige. Everyone builds gun on this team in scales. I think that would be a pretty poor idea if they did that. Billy, dropping low. They're diving. Light melees, keeping him healthy enough to not die so easily, but he does get taken down while Rem is off running boxes. Off-running boxes across the entirety of the map. But this is kind of what you expect, and it's the sacrifice you're willing to give over on the side of Popper's Pupils. And wow, this lane has been dominated. Venator and Bebop crushing the lane and taking the first Guardian of the game at 4.5 minutes. Bebop will eventually be chased down from the rotation of Mina, but Venator should be perfectly fine. Getting a shield from the Page is going to keep him chasing forward, and Mina's going to go down.
We need to keep this up.
Looks like everything's going to wind up with them backing out from each other. A decent little win on the favor of melee creeps for this early game, but as you can see by the net worth, things are still pretty darn even. In fact, this mostly comes from the box running that was done over on the side of Popper's Pupils. They had both the Rem and the Calico running boxes for quite some time, that they were able to pick up a lot of extra net worth for the team. So despite the fact that they lost the first Guardian of the game, they're still doing well. They're still very even.
They were right here.
Celeste also taking damage. Affliction coming down. First ultimate from Pocket. Winds up with a kill onto the McGinnis. But Celeste will be able to get out, gets chased away. Meanwhile, Venator gets taken down in the mid lane. And potentially an ultimate can be skilled. Not going to be used by Paradox, though. Billy gets taken down. Several heroes over on the side of Popper's Pupils, very low on health. And another lane loses their Guardian. A very fast-paced early game by melee creeps, as they have already taken 2 Guardians at 6 minutes. And the last lane that has a Guardian left is a McGinnis lane.
Let's go to York. Let's take care of
Which has been struggling more than I suspected it would. And in fact, they're going on to McGinnis again. They're bringing the numbers over to this lane. McGinnis goes down. Ultimate bouncing around from Celeste, doing some solid damage. Calico taken pretty darn low. Sleep coming through, Celeste. Not taking a snooze anytime soon. Hyper Beam over the top from the Bebop. And they're gonna lose the Guardian. Not going to trade off any lives, though. Wait, Pocket! Pocket! Oh my god, Pocket, what's your health? Like 5 HP by the time Pocket got out. Celeste continues to show no fear. And while they lost the Guardian, they immediately turn it around and they're going to push down the enemy Guardian. All 3 of the early Guardians taken down in favor of melee creeps so far. Popper's Pupils have only responded with 1, but the game is still very even. This is what efficient box running can do for you. Oh, crap. I missed Mina getting hooked.
A blue walker is under attack. Don't mind the blood on that.
Boy, she went down fast. That's the thing about Mina. She's got a lot of damage output, not a lot of survivability. One of the squishier heroes in the game. Bebop with 1,800 health, Mina with 1,000. Celeste looking to fight with the Paradox. Paradox ultimate does swap her back around, and a ton of damage comes out from Calico as well. Celeste trying to survive, not quite going to get out, though. Stun! Parry down onto the Venator, and it looks like he's going to go down too. Another kill in favor of Popper's Pupils. Paradox goes down eventually, and here comes the chase onto Calico. Too much DPS coming through. And McGinnis, technically, it's going to be Paige getting up the kills. She's on a killing streak. Funny enough, Paige has the most farm on the map after that killing streak. Uh-oh, chain gang coming through by the Billy, and I think this McGinnis is going to be left to pasture. Beaten down by the goat. Hyper Beam going over the top, trying to get a response kill. Celeste chasing down the Billy. Not going to continue any further, though. It'll wind up being a 2-for-1. Pocket stealing some money. A gut shot, preventing Pocket from getting out of there too easily. Satchel used for safety. Pocket brought low, and the whole squad coming to save their life. Making sure Pocket does not get taken down from a chase. In the meantime, Celeste is chasing Billy, doing a fair bit of damage. Radiant Daggers, just trying to de-push a little bit, but it looks like that Guardian's going to go down. No, they let it live. Okay. They didn't have any troopers pushing. And melee creeps have grabbed themselves the first urn of the game. They're currently running it on Venator, and more than likely, they're just going to be let... Yeah, they're just going to let that go over the side of Popper's Pupils, so... This slight lead they have is going to turn itself around, and instead it should go the way of melee creeps for a little bit.
Headed to York.
Oopsie.
Let's go blue.
Very even game at this 11-minute mark. Currently, one hero that's suffering would be Rem, but you don't mind if Rem suffers a little bit. The little guy can do a lot with a little. Mina over here getting chased by McGinnis. Dude, that's so much damage per second. McGinnis's DPS is a little out of control.
Defenses are up.
And this is after they nerfed her gun scaling by 50%. Rift is being contested over on the right side by melee creeps. Over in the middle. Okay, never mind. He's just farming. There just happens to be heroes near him. I'm sure he'll be fine. See, he's fine. Celeste, on the other hand, diving in, doing a lot of damage over to the Paradox, and the ultimate bounces back as Billy charges in. It hadn't dissipated yet. Can Celeste make her way out of here? Bunny hopping, bunny hopping. She's all right.
I see the enemy.
Let's push Greenwich.
Oh, he's gonna get himself back to safety inside of the Calico. McGinnis, pushing up very aggressively, uses a wall to get a little bit of space for herself, and she's just gonna back out. But if you take a look at that Walker, it's pretty darn low on HP. McGinnis with a very successful aggressive push there. Hook comes out, doesn't quite latch. Charge comes through, the shoulder tackle, not gonna actually stun, but it doesn't matter. Mina dead anyway. Exploded by the Bebop bomb. Rem is gonna have to just be left to die. Goodbye, Rem. Down he goes to the uppercut of Bebop.
What's the matter, all gettings? Can't hang without Bebop.
Bebop's really starting to make a lot of plays across the map. Venator, very low, afflicted by Pocket. One hit, one touch, and down he goes. That right there is the exact thing that got Pocket banned a million games in a row. The ability to pop Affliction and then chase you down. Uh-oh, Bebop with the hook going through. Teleport is available on the Flying Cloak. Ooh, that heal from Rem, keeping Pocket from death. Uh-oh, it looks like Mina's having a fight. And got taken down. Sorry, I misclicked there. And with the chase down from the McGinnis and the Abrams, down goes Paradox as well. Chase on to Calico for the time being. Not gonna get anything done. Pretty decent 5K-ish lead in favor of melee creeps at the moment.
The gloom will take them.
They're really making some nice plays in this early game. And already they're set up for the second urn. This is this aggressive, objective gameplay that the teams that win continue to get. Oh my god, they're just doing the exact same build that they do for Viscous on Page. I don't like it.
A strong man, a strong urn. What more does this city need?
Bringing in support.
Are you focusing on holding me or that tome?
Alright, this should be a relatively free urn.
On the bridge.
Abrams is running it at the moment, grabs himself a Hunter's Aura along the way.
You, sir, are an impressive.
And they've pretty much guaranteed this for themselves. Gonna hop around and get all of the goodies out of the urn. Now, they did lose a bit of their net worth lead by grouping up so much to escort the urn, but still. That was so fast by Bebop. Ira Domini got shot. Ira Domini. Eventually, the bomb takes Pocket down. And Rem will not be able to save his ally. And more than likely, this is also a Walker that's going to go down. So on the opposite side of the map, what we see is Mina and Billy heavily pushing into this Walker because they know there are 4 heroes on the enemy team on the other side of the map. And they're able to trade Walkers 1 for 1. Keeping the net worth from getting too out of control in favor of melee creeps, as they are still sitting on that 5k net worth advantage for themselves. And melee creeps make the call to jump mid-boss, but this is a little different from when we usually see the call made. Pocket is respawning well before mid-boss is dead. I guess their advantage is in having a lot more ultimates available for themselves. And in dives Mina. She's going to get slowing hexed, and she's going to back out for a little bit. Abrams' ultimate coming down. The big elbow drops down. The Page ultimate goes through, and it's a guaranteed rejuvenation capture for all three on the side of melee creeps, and Popper's Pupils are getting chased. Billy left to the wolves, taken down. Melee creeps looking like they're going to bring this to a game number 3 if things keep going in this direction.
Let's push
They've
through.
gotten themselves a 10k net worth advantage. They're pushing aggressively with their... Uh-oh, Abrams got stunned. He's getting grabbed. Back to safety. Abrams gets a shoulder charge and a lot of damage down. They're going to take the Walker and back out, losing nothing. Clean by melee creeps. Well, maybe not clean. Abrams almost died. But since nobody died, clean.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
We're really seeing the duality of Calico tonight. There are games where she was annihilating, and then there are games like this and the previous game where she is not annihilating. And when she's not annihilating, she tends to fall behind pretty quickly. She's good at running boxes, but she's not good at farming. And so in any situation where you're not picking up kills, where you're not winning team fights and such, Calico starts to fall just a little further behind with each moment. Over on the other side of the map, there's a potential fight breaking out. Calico even teleporting over to the area. There is nothing to fall back to safety-wise. Hook doesn't quite hit. A great attempt by Bebop, but Billy a little bit too fast. But that being said, he's not able to escape everyone. The slows and the chase down are in. Rising Ram being used by Billy, great mobility and able to get over to the other rooftop, and it looks like he might get himself back to safety. However, the rest of the team pressuring these base guardians pretty aggressively. They turn back around as they see Calico in the area, and they're going to go contest at this Void Rift.
Our blue walker is under attack.
Looks like everyone is going for the Void Rift. There's the Nox Nostra popped by Mina, a fairly large amount of damage. Billy already taken down because he was chunked so far before. We're going to have a Return to Shadows popped by Calico that's going to restore all of her abilities. Sleep comes through, preventing enemies from running away. A bouncing ultimate from Celeste onto everyone. Only Calico currently in here. Pocket makes a jump in as well. The Hyper Beam from Bebop over the top, and it is melee creeps winning the fight, taking the rift, and everything is now in their advantage. Even the urn gets picked up by melee creeps and is currently being run by Venator. More than likely, this is just a victory in favor of melee creeps. 20k net worth lead, just about, is usually when we can call it. Mina, sitting on the urn area, was hoping that Venator might come in and try to secure the urn while at low HP, but he's not going to do so. He healed up first. There's a rotation coming through, as you can see on the mini-map from the melee creeps heroes, and they're going to bring at least 3 over here. Looks like even 4, 5 even, as Paige makes a rotation over. They are very serious about securing this urn. Calico sneaking about,
These are your final
getting the little mini boxes and such.
Let's take out McGinnis.
I see Paradox.
Another Bebop hook lands, grabbing onto Paradox, and the follow-up. Paradox is dead.
You think I'm gonna see the enemy?
Man, they're making Bebop look like a broken hero right now.
I see pocket.
Over on the right side of the map, there's a fight. It is 4v2. Abrams taken down very quickly, and Affliction landed onto the McGinnis, but they're going to back out.
The only guy you can count on is yourself. The rich bastard will never miss it.
We're at a 15k net worth lead and currently waiting on the respawn of, well, various map objectives. Once 25 minutes rolls around, we'll probably see a lot more activity from the players. Until then, this is probably going to be... things are going to slow down a little bit. Maybe some roaming will happen and a pick-off might happen once or twice, but otherwise, we're in a bit of a lull. So let's take a look at how everyone's farm is going. Very defensive build on Celeste right now, but her next item is very likely to be something along the lines of a escalating exposure, something like that, to really ramp up her damage, and not just hers, but also her allies. Abrams has gone standard, I'm going to punch you in the head build, and his gun's going to hurt quite a lot build. Over on Venator, nothing new with the build over here. Working on finishing a rapid recharge. So he's got more access to grenades and traps.
I'll trap the bastard.
Over on the enemy team, Pocket is very farmed at 29k. Pocket has been farming super fast. Has both expanded AoE and duration. So really looking to leverage the ability of Affliction. And if we take a look at the enemy team, I don't think anyone over on the side of Melee Creeps has built up a Divine Barrier. Paige has finished one. All right, good for her. I thought she was still only on Guardian Ward. Camelot coming through. And a huge hook from Bebop into the Knights of the Round Table. Locking Mina down more than long enough to get that kill, and another hook pulling the Billy away, not letting Billy get out of there. Bouncing ultimate from Celeste, doing a great deal of damage. Billy with the Rising Ram getting out of there. A huge affliction hits multiple heroes, but even with afflicting 4 heroes, this doesn't look to be nearly enough. Shoulder charge comes through. Pockets cooldowns not up. Billy eventually get chased down as well. Every single hero dead on the side of Popper's Pupils, with the exception of this Paradox, who gets out at barely 100 HP.
Barely got out of there.
Meanwhile, Melee Creeps lost nobody. So they're going to take the Burge buffs. They're going to take the mid-boss as it has respawned. They're going to take the Void Rift on the right side of the map. And they're going to take this victory almost guaranteed. Nothing short of a miracle is going to let Popper's Pupils come back from this. So I'm going to go ahead and just say that this is definitely a victory in favor of the side of Melee Creeps. Let's see if I jinxed them or not.
Let's take out the...
Abrams looks like he's going to give up the first Rejuvenator, but with McGinnis coming through, oh my god, she's dead so fast. Mina using Nox Nostra as mobility to try and get away, but here's the thing, Celeste is very, very mobile. She can chase you down pretty darn well. Big fight over the Void Rift right now, and it's 4 heroes in favor of Melee Creeps. They take it. Another objective in their pocket. A ton of damage coming down from the McGinnis again. Pocket using mobility quite well, but it's unfortunate there's just too many heroes with too much farm.
Broadway needs help.
Pocket gets out in a body bag, unfortunately for them. And it looks like Billy's next. Rem will not be long for the world afterwards. This game is all but done. Shrine number 1 taken down in favor of Melee Creeps. Moving on over to Shrine number 2 as there's still 3 heroes respawning. Hook. Launched. No catch. First half of the Patron being taken rapidly. And they'll just get out, taking the last base Guardians here in mid lane. Okay, Paradox swap. Gonna pull the Bebop back in a little bit. A huge affliction hits many heroes, but the problem is there's no follow-up. Sure, Pocket, you're dealing a lot of damage via affliction, but those health bars aren't moving too much. That's the unfortunate thing about Pocket. If there's no follow-up from your team, how are heroes ever going to die on the enemy side? So Pocket's going to have, like, the most damage done on his team by far, if not even in the game, for all the good it'll do him. I'm starting to think you can't have too many gun heroes on one team. Well, maybe a little bit. I mean, if you got 6, but you notice that this is a gun hero and a gun hero and a hybrid hero, I guess. She does more damage with spells. And Paige has built a few pretty decent early gun items, I guess, to hit the 4800 or whatever. And Bebop has got some gun build going on. Like, there's just a bunch of gun build, and, you know, there's a lot of gun build for the Abrams as well. Gun is way stronger than Spirit. It's just a fact. Casting spells is not as good as holding left click.
Time for a little help.
I hold left click. I shoot gun. I do 10 billion damage per second. I am McGinnis. Once in a while, I throw wall.
We're staying in this fight. Don't let them outposition us.
Billy trying to run away, knocked back down to the ground, losing half his health in short order. Using the bash down to get a little bit of health back, but he's not long for this world. Down he goes. All right, Melee Creeps, you got a 40k net worth lead. You got a McGinnis and a Venator and a Celeste that are all giga-farmed. Can you close it out? Calico using Return to Shadows to not die and deal a little bit of damage back, but she is not doing a lot. Like, they're not even paying attention to her at this point. Celeste, very tanky, very difficult to kill, tosses out the ultimate, bouncing back and forth between Calico and anyone else in the vicinity. Calico taken down quickly, and down goes the patron. Melee Creeps even it up, 1-1.
Good game.
Very well played by them.
I knew we could do it.
So, I know it just said Paige was MVP. I don't think so. I think if you're going to give MVP to someone on Melee Creeps, it's got to be either the Celeste or the Bebop. They did a lot that game. They did a whole lot that game. They were part of a lot of the pickoffs, a lot of the fights, probably the Bebop even. Bebop was very, very impactful that game. Hitting a lot of great hooks, starting fights by ripping an enemy out of position. And hey, look what I said. I bet you Pocket's going to have the most player damage in the game, but for all the good that it did them, doesn't matter if you got the most player damage in the game if it's just ticking away slowly and there's no capitalization on it, right? So, Melee Creeps make that pivot. They focus a little bit more on having strong gun carries on their team and the backbone of a decent tank in the form of Abrams, and it works out for them quite well this time. That being said, they also had a Bebop that was landing hooks like crazy, and I'm of the mind that Bebop's one of the most impactful heroes in the game if he's landing hooks. But that's part of the reason why Bebop doesn't get picked up too often. It's kind of hard to land those long-range hooks. You got to have a lot of practice on it to be able to hit those. But Goober over on the side of Melee Creeps showing that he's very practiced in his hooker activities. He's been a hooker for a long time and really showing it off here. Meanwhile, over on the side of Popper's Pupils, they just got off to a poor start and weren't able to really get any traction for themselves in the game. And when it comes down to it, their scaling capability and lack of gun heroes means that if you take a look at the items over on the side of melee creeps, Spirit Resilience, Spirit Resilience, Spirit Resilience, Spirit Resilience, Witch Mail, which is also Spirit Resist, everyone on the side of Popper's Pupils is building spirit items for the most part. And as all of their damage is one type of damage, there's a little bit of gun damage and melee damage that's not spirit in there, but as most of it is spirit damage, it's very easy to itemize against that damage. And spirit is easier to itemize against damage than bullet damage because it comes in bursts and goes on cooldown rather than being a consistent damage output. So spirit resistance is a lot more impactful than bullet resistance, and thus the heroes on the side of melee creeps are just a little bit tanky and difficult to take down by the spirit burst of Popper's Pupils. Melee creeps put together a good lineup and even build their items properly into what they're facing and show that you really can't focus on one damage type because it's too easy to itemize against. We'll be looking at game number 3 out of this best of 3 to see who can take the final victory, whether Popper's Pupils will defend their title or whether melee creeps will be able to usurp them and become the new kings of the hill for this week. For now, we go on break.